Welcome to the show, Dewayne Pate. You are a bass player, also an accomplished composer. You've been busy working for the last 14 years to record your second album, which is on the upside. That's a huge length of time. Obviously, the pandemic has helped you to a certain extent in doing that. It's a mix of funk, blues, and jazz fusion, performed with a variety of instruments. You've mastered the range of musical style and performed around the world with acts such as Huey Lewis and the News, Tower of Power, Robin Ford, Tony Orlando, to name just a few. Born and raised in San Francisco and started gigging as a teenager with your grandfather's country and western band. Loads to talk with you about, Dewayne. Thank you so much for joining us, and please do tell us more.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Tell us more about your career, man.
I'm just doing the same stuff, being a side man, a hired gun, man. The same thing I was doing when you were here, man. Just working with everybody.
You love it, though.
Yeah, I do. But it took me, like you said, it took me a while to get this second CD going, So when COVID hit, I had time to, get in the studio and finish some of these compositions and just try to do something constructive while we couldn't do any gigging,
That's right. And you started working on your record.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Well, I had a bunch of tunes I wrote like 10 years ago and a bunch of ideas that I was putting together, and before COVID, everybody's busy working, gigging, I just didn't have the time there's only so much time in the day, with all the gigs and stuff. So, but when COVID hit, I didn't have any more excuses, I was like, there ain't no gigs. So man, this is perfect timing. I'm going to get all these cats together. And the whole thing was done remote. I mean, it sounds live. We did a great job of making it sound live, but obviously we couldn't all go in the studio at the same time and do it like you wanted to do it. So it was all done remote, like Dennis Chambers, one of the drummers, he lives in Baltimore, and Jeff Burns, who I think Skyler knows. He's in Milan now. He's working with this guy, Vasco Rossi, who's like he's like the Bruce Springsteen of Italy, man. He's a huge rock star. So Steph did his parts from Milan. Robin Ford did his parts from Nashville. And when you got great musicians, they know what to do to make it sound live. There's things you can do to make it sound like we're all playing together when you got great musicians. So it was fun, man. It was really fun. It was a challenge doing it remote like that, but I'm happy with the way it turned out.
Yeah, I'm doing a song like that right now. My bass player's from Croatia, the drummer's from Germany, the guitar player's over in Australia, and then Sylvester Burks is in Union City. The fact that we can do that now is like the most cool thing, Yeah. So what's the record about? What's the theme?
It doesn't really have a theme. I mean, the title On the Upside is just kind of a nerdy musical reference to that tune. It's like the melody, all the notes are on the upbeat instead of the downbeat.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So it's just kind of a nerdy musical reference. But then it has a little bit of a positive connotation to it. So I thought, that's why I named the CD On the Upside. There's 9 tunes. 6 of them are instrumentals and 3 of them are vocal tunes. Tony Lindsay sings a tune on there. This old blues tune. It's called Iceman. It's an old Albert Collins tune, and I had that idea to do that tune for like 10 years because I play with this guy Chris Kane. He's a great blues guitarist.
Yeah. And
I wanted to redo this tune with a Tower of Power kind of vibe with Chris playing on it. I got Tony to sing on it. That's one of the vocal tunes. And then Michaela Gaston, Bay Area girl.
She's been on the show.
She travels all around the world doing her organization.
She's been on our show before.
Yeah, she's bad. Oh
yeah, she's singing on a tune for me now. No man, she's amazing and beautiful spirit too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, she sings. We did People Get Ready, the Curtis Mayfield tune, with just bass and her and Carl Perazzo playing percussion from Santana.
Oh wow!
So it's just the 3 of us. It's like a little organic, like.
Nice.
Kind of a bass feature, but it's featuring her more than me. But she sounds incredible on that tune. I mean, she just sings the crap out of it.
Awesome. Beautiful voice, man.
She's got a beautiful voice. Yeah,
man. Tom, you got a question?
Oh, well, I have several questions, but the first one I'm going to pose you is, I want to take you all the way back to your junior high school days, where you started, where I gather, much like I think 1 or 2 other bass players I think we've spoken to on the show have started out. You started out in junior high and wanted to play guitar in your school jazz band. However, they didn't want just a guitarist. They needed and wanted an electric bass player. And sure enough, up stepped Dewayne Pate, and the rest is history. So, as I say, Skyler will be testament to this. We've had people in the past say, I started playing it because they needed it. I just wanted to hear your take on it, and is that how it went?
Yeah, it's pretty funny. When I was in junior, I was playing upright bass and guitar. Then, like you said, when I went to high school, I wanted to play guitar, but they already had a really good guitarist in the band. So I said, well, they didn't have a bass player, electric bass players, and I never played electric bass. So I said, yeah, I'll do it. I said, I'll do it.
I can play a bass, yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted to be in the band so bad. I just said, yeah, I'll do it, man. So I just BS'd my way into the band. And I said, yeah, I can do that, man. So I just worked really hard, though, man. I worked really hard, and I was a pretty good reader already because I'd been reading music in school and stuff. So I played upright bass, so I just, it wasn't that big of a deal, really. It wasn't,
No, that's pretty cool.
And then you put the guitar down and kept the bass, huh?
I put that guitar, too many guitar players, man. Too many guitar players, way better than me, man. So, yeah, more work as a bass player.
So is your thing going to be, what category is it?
It's probably going to be in the jazz category, man. I hate to categorize stuff, but it fits into the jazz umbrella probably more than anything else. So it's already getting some radio play and stuff to start. The radio campaign just started like last week. So, hopefully it'll start working its way up the charts and stuff. So over the next month or so. So, yeah.
Okay. And then will you go find an agent for it so you can go and do gigs?
That's the next step that I'm contemplating, man. It's like, that last one, my first CD I did like 12 years ago, it was really good. Clay Tobin, man, he sang some backgrounds on it and stuff.
Yeah.
And we're going to have to talk about our old days of Clay together, man. But Clay Tobin and all our homies. But so Clay Tobin and all these people were saying, man, this is a great CD. You should be going out playing gigs and touring with this, and I should have, and I never did. I just kind of just sat there. Now I have boxes and boxes of CDs that I never really did anyway. So when I did this one, I actually hired a press person, a publicity. I've been getting write-ups in magazines and reviews, and then I hired a radio guy, and trying to do it right this time. It'd be great to go over to Europe and play on some I played on festivals in Europe with everybody else. Why not do it with my band, Yeah,
man, that's the key to it. And it's just finding festival buyers, you know what I mean, and submit your stuff. They see all the people that you're playing with. But radio play is essential. But the main thing is to get out, just start, go play. Yeah. And then, I always say, I'm not opening. They just closing for me.
Yeah.
Tom, you got another question?
Lover as I am of a great segue or link. That links into my next question, which would be, have you got any planned gigs and or touring plans at all in the pipeline?
Like I said, not right now. I've been so engulfed, man, like working on the other stuff, the radio stuff, and I've got a social media administrator guy helping me out, post stuff on Facebook all the time about everybody who's that played on the CD, and now that everybody's back to work, I'm doing gigs with everybody and really busy in town doing gigs, and so yeah, like I said, that's the next step is like putting a band together. I was just talking to, Ray Obiedo, man. You remember Ray Obiedo?
Of course.
He mixed it and helped me produce it. I produced it mostly, but he's a great mixer, man. And he mixed the whole thing. He's a great guy. And I was just talking to him yesterday about, man, where should I do the CD release party? Should we do it at Yoshi? Should we do it talking to him about this exact question, like, who to use in the band. I got to figure out who to use in the band. I'd like to use Dennis Chambers, but he's in Baltimore. I might use Brian Brian Collier. Remember Brian? Yeah, he's down in LA now. So you got to think about, I'm starting to think about all that stuff, though. That's the next step. I got to throw a band together. And
this whole movement that we're doing is about social conscious music. You have any opinion about social conscious music?
No, we need it. That's my opinion. We need it. We need
Definitely.
More socially conscious music. No, I dig what you're doing, man. I everything you've sent me is like, yeah, that's cool. Definitely.
Yeah. Who were some of your favorite artists as a social conscious?
I'm a big James Taylor fan. Old school.
Yeah.
you know, I wish I could write a song half as good as somebody like him or Carole King or, you know, Stevie Wonder. I mean, you know, there's so many, and there's so many young people now doing cool stuff like that, man. It's, you know.
Doing social conscious music?
Yeah. I mean, but I like trying to think of somebody. Every once in a while, somebody turns me on to somebody. I stumble on somebody. I'm like, wow, never heard of this person. Yeah. I mean, I know. I think what you're doing it's great, man. We need more of it.
Yeah, man. I mean, you know, it's like teaching young people about positive lyrics, right?
Yeah.
Because, you know, there's enough bad news, man. You know.
Yeah.
So we put some good news out and do some positive music and get that rolling. Like, you know.
Yeah.
Tom, you got another question?
Yeah, I mean, just looking at some of the people you've played with, how did these collaborations happen for you? Was it?
I've known all those guys. I played in bands with Chris Hayes, the guitar player in Huey. We had bands with him and Rob Sutta, sax player that plays in the band. Skyler knows all these guys. Yeah. So I've been playing with those guys, and they kind of recommended me, I think, at some point. It's a long story. So, but I had done demos with those guys and worked with all those guys before. But with the Tower of Power thing, Tom Politzer, one of the sax players in the band, recommended me to do some sub work because Rocco Prestia, the original bass player, was having some health problems and stuff. Yeah. So, Mark van Wageningen, who's a local bass player who Skyler knows, he's originally from Holland, but he's been in the Bay Area for a long time. He was doing a gig for Rocco, and I don't know if Skyler probably knows the story, but Tower of Power was playing at Yoshi's, and Mark van Wageningen, the bass player, and Dave Garibaldi, the drummer, got hit by a train. This is a big story, and all the musicians know this story. But they got hit by a train. This was like in 2017. Yeah. So they were both, long story short, they were both out of commission for a long time. So I started, and Rocco was having health problems. So I started subbing in the band, and I finished a tour in Europe with them and whatnot. So that's how that came about.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Wow, man. I mean, I know you like number one call, man. You're so busy. This is amazing, right? And we used to travel together a lot, touring.
Man, we had so much fun in that band. I did a gig at Sweetwater with this singer-songwriter friend of mine, Jimmy Dillon. He's kind of a blues rock guy who lives in Hawaii now, but he came back to do a big party. And so we played at Sweetwater about a month ago, and Dick came and sat in and played a couple tunes. We'll
put some links to the various social media contacts that you've got. We'll link those in the video for people who want to check out what you're doing and what's up next for you. Yeah.
Yeah. And I got a new website that's up if people want to check out my first CD and then this CD or find out where I'm playing here, all that kind of stuff.
What's your website?
It's patebass.com. PATE bass.com.
Okay. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, brilliant. I'll say we'll link all that in the description of this video as well for people. So yeah, it'd be good to get some people onto what you're doing and what you're about.
Cool.
Dewayne, love you, man.
Love you too, bro. It's so good to see you.
You too, man. Don't bite them,
Appreciate you joining us.
Take care, brother.
Bro.
Take care, Dewayne.
Thanks, Tom.
Great to meet you.
All right, man. Ciao.
Thank you so much for watching. To stay up to date, please click subscribe and hit the bell. You can also join our group on Facebook and find us on LinkedIn and Instagram.